Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 16th, 2022, and today's video isn't a sponsored video, but it is a review of a piece of equipment, a mini chainsaw by Saker, S-A-K-E-R. And last week someone reached out to me from the Saker company and said, geez, do you want to do, if we send you a unit, would you be willing to do a review? I wrote him back and said, I'd be happy to, but you're going to get exactly my thoughts on it. It's going to be honest and all. And but before really responding, I went ahead and looked at on Amazon. They sell this on Amazon, the same unit that they sent to me, and had lots of positive reviews. It was 4.5 stars, or a little bit more than that, I can't remember. I also looked for some YouTube video, other people who had reviewed them, and Tony's Cool Tools, I believe, is the name of the website. I'll put a link in the description as well for their website. How's it going, hon?
Going good, going to the Sugar Shack.
Okay. And so Tony did a really good job of doing a very thorough review. And my goal, it came in the night before last, and yesterday I went out back in along the access roads, because what I envisioned this tool being handy with would be the one-handed ability to get up on some of my three-legged step ladders. Now I have several different battery-operated chainsaws. So I have, like the Ego, a really nice powerful Ego chainsaw that I absolutely love. I have the gas and oil, the two cycle chainsaws as well that I do use, but I'm trying to use those as little as possible. I also have a Greenworks pole saw with extra extensions that allow me to get way up into trees and all. But the longer the extension is, and it's two-handed, and the weight of the unit is, it gets further and further, and I have a couple of extensions for this pole saw, the accuracy and the damage that you can do to the trees is increased by the additional length and the weight of the unit. So I have been looking for something that that will work better than my bypass pruners, because I have bypass pruners that are just my handheld ones, and I have anvil tuners, and I have my loppers, but I also have extensions for bypass pruners that I can get up in, but they're for smaller caliper branches and all. So if you're regularly pruning, and sometimes I get behind and I get some really big branches. Now, one of my goals yesterday was to go along the access roads and get those limbs that were overhanging the access paths, so I can get the excavator down the paths as well. And sometimes, like right now, well, right about now is when I start transplanting some of the larger trees. So I have pawpaw trees, maple trees, oak trees. I have quite a few different trees that I'm transplanting, and they may be anywhere from 6 feet tall to 25 feet tall. And those trees can take a beating if I'm going down the access roads, traveling from one forested area to another forested area, with all of the branches that go over the tops of those. So my goal was to use my three-legged ladders. I have a 6-foot, 8-foot, and 12-foot Werner three-legged ladders that are basically, you see those in orchards, and they work extremely well. They're very secure, and I thought with an ergonomic mini chainsaw in my hand that would work out pretty well. So that's my introduction to why I was excited about trying this out. And to get to the end of the meat of the matter, every once in a while you run into a tool and you use it, and you see how many different functions it can provide for you, and you think to yourself, why didn't I get this tool before that? And that's sort of the way that I'm thinking of this Saker mini chainsaw right now. So this is the case it comes in. It's a Saker. It is a SK1804D. It's got about a 4-inch bar, 240 millimeters. It has 780 revolutions per minute. The case, I'm not impressed with the case. These small latches will probably wear out before too long. The impression where the chainsaw actually sits is great, but there isn't a real secure way of keeping the two batteries in place. But I'll go over that. It comes with the mini chainsaw itself, two 20-volt, 1.5 amp hour batteries. I believe that these are probably lithium-ion batteries from the way that they behaved. The one thing I would say that would be nicer about the batteries, if there were LED indicators to say what their state of charge is. When you're charging it, the charging transformer here has an LED light on it that will be red if it's not fully charged and green once it is fully charged. It takes a couple of hours to fully charge it. One of these batteries got me a couple of hours of cutting. Now the couple of hours of cutting, probably 2.5 hours, but I was climbing up and down on ladders, taking the limbs, piling them up so I can use Mini-Me with the grappler, with a grapple on it to be able to pick up those brush piles later on. So it wasn't just continuous cutting during the time. But the other things that come with it, besides the two batteries, the chainsaw, there's two tools. There's a hex, a sort of an an angled hex wrench so that you can use that, and there is a small screwdriver for adjusting the chain tension as well. The actual mini chainsaw itself is, I think this is designed for a right-handed person. I'm right-handed, but certainly it will work. There is a safety button that you have to press before hitting the trigger. That's pretty sensitive. It works extremely well. There's a guard that will slip up out of the way. Would it be ideal if there was a scabbard on this? Yes, it would be ideal. Typically when I'm using my bypass pruners or I'm doing chainsaw work, I'm usually going clockwise around the tree as I work it all. With this, because of the motor, the electric motor on the right side of the unit, going counterclockwise is the way I found that you can go. As I said, it's got about a 4-inch bar on it. I think 240 millimeters in length. The chain is excellent quality. The bar is excellent quality. The power in the unit is absolutely fantastic. I was able to take at least 3.5-inch thick oak and maple and cut right through it without any problem. The battery lasted the whole time that I was using it. The second battery, I did end up going back out, and that's when I took down some of the magnolia and the Canadian hemlocks. I pruned those as well. With the ease, the ergonomic ease of using this, you don't get tired. This thing is so light. It probably weighs 2.5 pounds. I didn't actually look that up. And the battery is small. It's nicely balanced. It's real easy to maneuver around. And you know, this way here, if you need to hold on to the trunk of the tree or hold on to a limb, you can use the one hand to cut with. I know in the manual it says don't use it above your head. You know, the wood shavings will come back in your face. I was wearing safety glasses. So one of the things I would say is this is, you know, almost an ideal tool for being up on a ladder working in trees with one hand either holding the ladder, holding the branch, holding the trunk, so you can accurately and precisely not damage the growth collar when you're pruning off those limbs. It does really nice clean cuts. Very, very nice clean cuts. What else did I want to say about it? Those are the main things that I can think about. This is my preliminary review of this unit. I may add some footage that I shot yesterday. It's not great, and I don't have a lot of time to edit it out. I have a couple of hours of footage. But I plan on, as I'm doing other jobs on the property, but most of the pruning that I'll be doing, I'll actually use this in the food forest as well. I was thinking I wouldn't use it in the food forest because they're fruit and nut trees and all, and I really didn't want to do any extra damage. I didn't want to scarify, disrupt the bark around the collar of these. These are wanting to heal very, very well. But this did so well yesterday. I'm super impressed, so I will be using it on the fruit trees. One of the things that folks might find as a setback for this, it doesn't have an oiling chamber on it for dripping the oil onto the bar and chain to keep it well lubricated. So for me, I think that's actually great, because I can't tell you how many times I've had spots underneath my chainsaws. If I don't use up all the oil in them, and seldom do I go out and I do some work with it, and then there'll be a spot underneath the chainsaw when I get back, or inside of the case. Yesterday I just used WD-40, gave it a squirt every time I'd move to a new group of trees. And I went to several different places on the property. I started down and back on an oak tree, and I may include some footage of that, or I may not. I don't know yet. My videos get to be pretty long-winded, but so far I'm thinking that this is one of those tools I had no idea that I should have gotten a long time ago. But of course they didn't have these lithium-ion batteries that they have nowadays. This is really well designed. I was looking at the Milwaukee mini chainsaw that they have, and Steel also, or I'm not sure how you pronounce this, the steel manufacturing chainsaws and all. They have a mini chainsaw as well. And so when this one came up, I don't see any advantage to having those popular name brand ones thus far. The build quality and the material, the craftsmanship putting this together, so far looks fantastic. But again, some tools can look great when you first start using them. But the tool itself, I think it's great. Could it have a scabbard? I'd love to have a scabbard for this as well. I have to determine which size file needs to be used, this or grinding stone that I use for doing it. But from what I understand, the chains come in a pack of 2, and it's like 16 bucks or 17 bucks for a set of the chains. And that's pretty practical as well. So that seems great to me. I did a little bit of cutting at the base of the tree around the root ball, trying to remove some brush, but I stopped doing that because I thought the loppers would work better, because they're all small things the size of my pinky or just a little bit bigger than that. The other thing I'd say is, again, I'll just, if the company's ever listening, little LED indicators on the batteries themselves would be helpful. And maybe taking a second look and charging a little bit more for a little bit better case for it, so that it can be well protected and the blade doesn't get dull banging around in somebody's back of their UTV and all. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. If you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and by all means, folks, take good care of yourselves, stay safe, and so far this gets an all-star. I didn't know I needed that sort of review so far. Take care now. Bye-bye.